When my daughter-in-law looked at me and said, "You should go now," I did not cry. I smiled. Not because I was strong, not because it did not hurt, but because, at that moment, I felt something inside me quietly give up. I remember how the room felt more than her words. The air was still. The clock on the wall was ticking too loudly, and the afternoon light was falling through the window, landing on the floor like it always did. It was my home, or at least, it used to be. I had lived in that house for many years. I had cooked in that kitchen. I had watched my son grow up in those rooms. I had laughed there. I had cried there too. But that day, standing in front of my daughter-in-law, I realized something painful. A home can slowly stop being yours, even while you are still living in it. When she said those words, her voice was calm. Not angry, not loud, almost polite. That made it hurt more. I nodded, as if she had only asked me to step outside for some air. I told her I would pack a small bag. I told her it was fine. Inside, I felt very small. As I walked to my room, every step felt heavy. The hallway looked the same, but it felt different, like it already belonged to someone else. That was the day everything changed. But the truth is, it did not start that day. It started long before, in small moments, quiet moments, moments I chose to ignore. Let me take you back. I am a mother, and before that, I was a wife. My husband passed away many years ago. He was a quiet man, kind in simple ways. We built our life slowly, brick by brick, meal by meal. Our son was our only child. We poured everything into him. Our love, our dreams, our worries. When he grew up, got a job, and brought home the woman he wanted to marry, I was happy, truly happy. I remember the first time I met her. She was polite, soft-spoken. She smiled carefully, like someone who did not want to make mistakes. I told myself she was shy. At the wedding, I cried happy tears. I held her hands and told her, "This is your home now." I meant it. After my husband died, the house felt too quiet. So when my son suggested that they live with me after marriage, I agreed without hesitation. I thought it would be good for all of us. We would be a family. We would support each other. In the beginning, things were fine. I woke up early. I made tea. I cooked meals like I always had. I tried not to interfere. I tried not to give advice unless asked. I wanted to be the kind of mother-in-law people speak kindly about. Sometimes I noticed small changes. The kitchen shelves were rearranged. My old containers were moved aside. New curtains replaced the ones I had chosen years ago. I told myself this was normal. A new woman making a home her own. I adjusted. When they ate later than me, I waited. When they wanted privacy, I stayed in my room. When my daughter-in-law corrected me gently, I smiled and said nothing. I told myself this was love. This was compromise. My son grew quieter over time. Not distant, but busy. Always tired. Always rushing. When I spoke to him about small things, he would say, "Ma, please don't overthink." So I stopped talking. Days passed. Weeks turned into months. Sometimes, at night, I sat alone in my room listening to the sounds of the house. Their laughter from the living room, the television playing softly, the door closing. I did not feel angry, just invisible. Still, I believed things would settle, that this was just a phase. I kept my heart open. Then came the comments, small ones, sharp ones. "Ma, you don't need to cook every day. You can rest in your room. I'll handle this." I thanked her each time. I stepped back a little more. Soon, I was cooking only for myself, eating alone, cleaning my own dishes. The house was full, but I felt like a guest. One evening, I heard her on the phone. She did not know I was near the door. She said, "I feel like I can't breathe sometimes." I stood still. I wondered if I was the reason. That night, I could not sleep. I replayed every word I had ever spoken to her. Every step I took in the house, every habit. I tried harder after that. I spoke less, moved quietly, stayed out of the way. Love, I thought, means not being a burden, but love should not make you disappear. I did not know that yet. And then, slowly, without warning, the distance became something else, something final, and it led us to that afternoon. The quiet room, the ticking clock, the moment she looked at me and said, "You should go now." The days after that moment felt strange. Even before she told me to leave, something had already shifted. I could feel it in the way the house breathed around me. I woke up early one morning, as I always did. The sun had not fully risen yet. The light outside was soft and gray. I walked into the kitchen quietly. I did not want to disturb anyone. Old habits are hard to let go of. I put the kettle on the stove. The familiar sound of boiling water filled the silence. For a moment, it felt like the old days. Then she walked in. She paused when she saw me, just for a second, but I noticed. "Good morning," I said softly. She nodded. "Morning." Her voice was polite, but distant, like we were strangers sharing a space, not family. I poured tea into my cup and stepped aside. I waited for her to move freely. I had learned to do that. As she prepared her breakfast, she spoke without looking at me. "Ma, we're thinking of changing the dining table," she said. "It takes up too much space." I nodded. "That's fine." That table had been there for years. My husband had chosen it. We had eaten countless meals around it, but I said nothing. Small moments like this kept happening. My photo frames disappeared from the living room. My blankets were folded and stored away. My presence was slowly being packed into corners. No one said anything directly. No one was rude, and yet I felt like I was constantly in the way. One afternoon, my son came home late. He looked tired. His shoulders were heavy. I asked him if he had eaten. He sighed gently. "Ma, you don't need to worry so much." I smiled. "I'm your mother." He did not reply. That silence hurt more than words. Later that evening, I heard them arguing quietly in their room, not shouting, just low voices. I did not mean to listen, but when you live together, sounds travel. "She's always around," my daughter-in-law said. "I feel watched all the time." I pressed my hands together. "She's old," my son replied. "She doesn't mean anything." Old. The word stayed with me. I went back to my room and closed the door gently. I sat on my bed and stared at the wall. I asked myself something painful that night. When does love become inconvenience? The next few weeks were harder. My daughter-in-law stopped asking me anything. She stopped including me in conversations. If guests came, she introduced me politely, but briefly. "This is my husband's mother, not my second mother, not part of us, just someone related." I began to feel nervous doing simple things, opening the fridge, turning on the TV, walking through the living room. Every movement felt like it needed permission. One day, I accidentally broke a cup. It slipped from my hands and shattered on the floor. The sound was loud, sharp. She came running. Her face tightened when she saw the broken pieces. "It was a gift," she said quietly. "I'm sorry," I replied immediately. My hands were shaking. She sighed and bent down to clean it herself. "I'll do it," she said. "You might hurt yourself." I stood there, useless. That night, I cried silently into my pillow, not because of the cup, but because of how small I felt. I started spending more time outside, walking slowly in the evenings, sitting on a bench near the road. Sometimes neighbors would greet me. They would ask about my son. I smiled and said he was fine. I did not tell anyone how lonely I felt. Loneliness feels heavier when you are surrounded by people. One evening, my daughter-in-law knocked on my door. That itself surprised me. She stood there, arms crossed. "Ma," she said calmly, "we need to talk." My heart began to beat faster. She came inside and sat on the chair. I sat on the bed. "We've been thinking," she said. "This arrangement is not working." I waited. "I feel like I don't have space," she continued. "I need my own home, my own rules." I nodded slowly. I understand, I said. She looked relieved. We thought maybe you could stay with your sister for some time, she suggested. Just until things settle. My sister lived far away. She had her own struggles. But I did not say that. I'll think about it, I replied. She smiled politely and left. That night, I barely slept. I stared at the ceiling and listened to the house. The sounds felt colder. I wondered when my home had stopped feeling safe. I wondered why my son had not spoken to me himself. I wanted to ask him, but I was afraid of the answer. The next morning, I saw him rushing out for work. I called his name. Beta, I said. He turned back. Is something wrong? He asked. I opened my mouth, then closed it. No, I said softly. Take care. He nodded and left. That was when I realized something painful. He had already chosen. Not loudly, not cruelly, but quietly. And that quiet choice was pulling me towards something I was not ready for. The tension in the house grew heavier with each passing day, like clouds gathering before rain. And deep inside, I knew something was coming, something that would change everything. The house grew quieter after that, not the peaceful kind of quiet, the kind that presses on your chest. I began to wake up later than usual. There was no rush anymore. No one needed my tea or my morning questions. I stayed in my room more. I folded my clothes slowly. I touched my things like they might soon belong somewhere else. One afternoon, it started to rain. Soft rain at first, then steady. The sound of it against the windows made the house feel smaller. I sat near my window and watched the drops slide down the glass. I remembered another rainy day, many years ago. The day my son was born, I held him in my arms and promised him I would always be there. I wondered if promises expire with time. That evening, my daughter-in-law cooked dinner. The smell filled the house, warm and familiar. She did not call me. I waited. Then I realized they were eating without me. I stayed in my room, my stomach tight, not from hunger, from something deeper. Later, my son knocked on my door. "Ma," he said softly, "did you eat?" I looked at him, at the boy I raised, at the man he had become. "No," I replied. "I wasn't called." He hesitated. "She thought you were resting," he said. I nodded. "I'll eat later," I said. He stood there for a moment, then left. That was when something inside me cracked. Not loudly, just a small, quiet break. The next day, my daughter-in-law, "We've been talking," she said while folding laundry, "and we think it would be better if you made other arrangements." Her words were calm, almost kind, but they landed heavy. "I understand," I said. She looked surprised. Maybe she expected resistance, tears, anger, but I had none left. That night, I packed one bag, just essentials, clothes, a small photo album, my husband's old shawl. Each item carried a memory. Each memory felt like goodbye. I placed the bag near the door. The next morning, she came to my room. She stood there, her face serious. She did not sit. She said the words slowly. "You should go now." That was it. No explanation. No softness. Just a statement. I smiled. I don't know why. Maybe because crying would have made it real. "I will," I said. She nodded. My son was not home. I picked up my bag. It felt heavier than it should have. As I stepped out, I looked around one last time. The living room, the kitchen, the hallway, all the places where I had loved quietly. I opened the door. The air outside was cool. The sky was cloudy. I stepped out. The door closed behind me. The sound was soft, but it echoed inside me. I walked slowly down the path. I did not look back, because I knew if I did, I would not be able to keep walking. I sat on a bench near the bus stop, my bag at my feet. People passed by. Cars moved. Life continued. And I sat there, trying to understand how a home can let you go so easily. I felt no anger, only sadness, and a deep, quiet ache. I thought of my son. I wondered if he would notice my absence. I wondered if he would feel lighter. The bus arrived. I got on. As it moved away, I closed my eyes, and for the first time in a long time, I let myself cry. Not loudly, just tears sliding down silently. I whispered to myself, "It's okay." I did not know if it was true, but I needed to believe it. The bus ride felt long, longer than the distance it was covering. Every stop gave me time to think, and I did too much of that. I held my bag close, like it might disappear if I loosened my grip. Outside the window, the city moved on without me. People talked, laughed, scrolled on their phones. No one knew I had just lost my home. I got down near my sister's place just as the sky began to darken. The rain had stopped, but the air still felt heavy. My legs ached as I walked the last few steps. When my sister opened the door, she looked surprised, then concerned. "Why didn't you call?" she asked. "I didn't want to trouble you," I said. She stepped aside and let me in without another word. Sometimes kindness does not need questions. That night, I slept on a thin mattress on the floor. It was not uncomfortable, but it was unfamiliar. I stared at the ceiling and listened to a different house breathe. Different sounds, different rhythm. I felt like a guest in my own life. The next few days passed quietly. My sister went about her routine. I tried to help where I could. I cooked simple meals. I washed dishes slowly. I kept myself busy so my thoughts would not run wild. But they did anyway. I thought about my son constantly. I waited for a call, a message. None came. Each hour stretched into the next. Each silence felt louder than the last. One evening, my sister sat beside me. "You can stay as long as you need," she said gently. I smiled. "Thank you." But inside, I knew. No place feels permanent when you feel unwanted somewhere else. Days turned into weeks. I settled into a quiet routine. Morning tea by the window, a short walk in the afternoon, evenings spent folding clothes or listening to the radio. Life became smaller. Sometimes I caught myself setting aside extra food. Then I remembered there was no one else. One afternoon, I finally received a call. My phone rang softly. My heart jumped. It was my son. "Ma," he said. I closed my eyes. "Yes," I replied. He hesitated. "Are you okay?" he asked. "I'm fine," I said, and I meant it the way people often do. Not completely, but enough. There was a pause. "She's been asking about you," he said. I did not ask who. "I hope you're not upset," he added. I thought about everything. The door, the words, the silence. "I'm not angry," I said truthfully. "I'm just tired." He did not know what to say. "Take care of yourself," he finally said. "You too," I replied. The call ended. I placed the phone down slowly. That conversation stayed with me, not because of what was said, but because of what wasn't. Weeks later, a small envelope arrived, my name written on it. Inside was a letter from my daughter-in-law. It was short. She wrote that she hoped I was well, that things had been stressful, that she needed space at that time. No apology, no blame, just distance wrapped in polite words. I folded the letter carefully and placed it back in the envelope. I did not feel angry. I felt something else. Acceptance. I began to understand that love changes shape. Sometimes it grows closer. Sometimes it steps away. And sometimes it asks you to leave quietly. One evening, as I sat watching the sunset, my sister asked me something. "Do you regret leaving?" she asked. I thought for a long moment. "No," I said slowly. "I regret staying silent for so long." She nodded. That night, I slept a little better. Not because things were fixed, but because I had stopped waiting. I had survived the leaving. Now, I was learning how to live after it. Time has a gentle way of moving forward, even when our hearts stay behind. Weeks passed, then months. Life did not return to what it was, but it found a new shape. I learned the rhythm of my sister's home. Her mornings were quicker than mine. Her evenings were quieter. I found comfort in small things. Watering plants, folding warm clothes fresh from the line. I stopped waiting for my phone to ring. That was the hardest habit to break. One morning, while cleaning, I found my old diary at the bottom of my bag. I had not opened it in years. I sat by the window and turned the pages slowly. There were notes about my husband, about my son's childhood, simple things. I packed his lunch today. He smiled when he saw me. I realized how much of my life had been given quietly, without asking for anything back. That thought did not make me sad. It made me proud. One afternoon, my son came to visit. He stood at the door, unsure. I invited him in. He looked thinner, tired. We sat across from each other. There was tea between us, untouched. "I should have spoken sooner," he said. I listened. "I didn't know how," he continued. "I thought keeping quiet would keep peace." I nodded. "Peace without kindness feels empty," I said gently. He looked down. "I'm sorry, Ma." Those words were enough, not because they fixed everything, but because they acknowledged the pain. "I forgive you," I said. Not loudly, not dramatically, just honestly. He stayed for a while. We spoke of small things. When he left, I felt lighter, not because he had returned, but because I had released something heavy inside me. I did not return to that house, and I did not ask to. Some doors close so others can open quietly. I learned that love does not always mean staying. Sometimes it means stepping away with dignity. Today, my life is simple, peaceful. I still think of my son every day. I hope he is happy. I hold no bitterness, only understanding. If you are listening to this and feeling unwanted somewhere you once belonged, remember this: your worth does not leave when a door closes. Your kindness still matters. And sometimes, walking away gently is the strongest thing you can do. I learned that late in life, but I learned it well.